So, you've decided that it's time to learn the guitar. Congratulations! You're in for a fun, lifelong journey, but you're still missing that one thing you need the most, the actual guitar. In this video, I'm going to share 5 tips to help you decide whether the acoustic or the electric is the right guitar for you to start your musical journey. And if that sounds good to you, smash that like button and stay tuned. What's up, gentlemen? America's favorite guitar playing ginger is back with some more guitar related content. If this is our first time meeting, my name is Scott and I teach aspiring guitar players like you how to play the best rock songs of the past and how to produce the best rock songs of the future. I know that buying a guitar is not a cheap investment. So today, I want to help you decide whether the acoustic or the electric is the appropriate choice for your guitar journey. So let's dive in. Tip number 1, consider what kind of music you actually want to play. Here's a question for you. Do you want to shred like Jimi Hendrix or serenade like Ed Sheeran? Are you only interested in rocking out and shredding high on the neck? Then buying an acoustic guitar will probably leave you pretty disinterested pretty quickly. Now, can you be a rock star playing an acoustic guitar? The short answer is a resounding yes. But most of us think of overdriven, distorted electric guitars when we think of rock music. So keep your genre of interest in mind. Tip number 2, consider how big and strong your hands are. This may seem like a weird thing to think about, but playing an acoustic guitar is simply going to be more challenging physically for your hand and fingers. On an acoustic, the sound is generated by the string vibrations being amplified naturally through the guitar's body. The sound resonates and then is emitted through the sound hole. So the strings must be bigger and thicker in order to hear the sound. Thicker strings means they are harder to bend and they'll also create more discomfort when playing, especially initially for beginners. Electric guitar strings are thinner. The pickups on the electric are able to amplify the sound, so thick strings aren't needed to fill out the sound. Additionally, the electric guitar neck is thinner, so it's easier to wrap your hand around. And possibly most importantly, the action of the strings is typically lower, meaning the strings are closer to the fretboard on an electric than they are on an acoustic. This requires less pressure to fret the strings, and it makes it easier to play. If you have big hands with long fingers, then this may not be something you need to worry about. But if you don't, seriously consider how challenging it may be initially to play the acoustic guitar. If you're getting value out of this video, let me know in the comments down below, and please consider subscribing. Now, on to the next tip. Tip number 3, consider how much extra stuff you're comfortable acquiring and using. All you need to play an acoustic guitar is the guitar and possibly a pick. Now, this can be true for the electric as well, but if you actually want to audibly hear what you're playing in a room that isn't silent, then you're gonna need some accessories. These accessories will often include at least a small practice amp and its associated cables. Setting up and plugging in a small practice amp isn't difficult, but the acoustic is certainly more convenient as far as being ready to play right out of the case. And this leads us into the next tip. Tip number 4, consider your budget. There are less accessories to buy for an acoustic guitar, so it'll be cheaper to get one, right? Maybe, but not necessarily. The reality is, a cheap acoustic guitar is going to be almost impossible for a beginner to play. The action will be very high, and the sound quality will probably be pretty low. In my experience, this discourages beginning players. Combined with the extra finger pain associated with playing the acoustic, I often see a lot of beginning acoustic guitar players quit. In order to get an acoustic guitar that's actually playable, you're going to have to expand your budget, either to get a better quality guitar or to have your cheap guitar professionally set up. Because of this, it may actually be cheaper to get an electric guitar starter kit that comes with the amplifier. Tip number 5. Consider if you want to go to music school. Maybe we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but for some of you, you may be convinced that you want to play guitar or produce music for a living. Or maybe you're a parent and you want to send your child to a music school like Juilliard. Most professional music schools are classical or jazz institutions. There are certainly contemporary music schools out there. Berklee School of Music in Boston comes to mind. But schools like Juilliard aren't offering rock guitar or electric guitar courses. Having your 10-year-old learn how to shred the solo from Bark at the Moon isn't going to prepare him or her very well for a music conservatory. In this case, maybe a classical guitar, which is like an acoustic guitar but with nylon strings, would be a more appropriate choice. Before we conclude our discussion, there's one additional point that I'd like to make. There are small-scale acoustic guitars that are shorter from nut to bridge than a standard acoustic, which reduces string tension and makes it easier to play. There are also smaller-bodied acoustic guitars, which are a little more ergonomically friendly because you don't have to wrap your arm around a huge body. So if you want to learn acoustic guitar, there are some workarounds to make your life a little bit easier. But ultimately, if you're a beginner and you're particularly inspired by rock music, my recommendation would be for you to purchase the electric guitar. If you love rock music like I do, I'm sure you'll find the electric more inspiring and more fun. So which do you prefer, the acoustic or the electric? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, check out the description box where I'll leave links to some acoustic guitars that I think are particularly beginner friendly, as well as some electric guitars and electric guitar starter kits. And while you're down there, click the subscribe button to join the congregation and get more guitar related videos every single week. Thanks so much for joining me, and remember, hug the gingers in your life, because yes, we do have souls.